Yeah, so the one time I decide to be careful and not reactionary towards a team, they decide to fall off a cliff. Liverpool began this season building upon their successful title run last campaign. They spent about 7 gazillion euros to bring in attacking talents like Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak. They also needed to sort out their depth, especially their midfield and defense. And they spent probably like £3.50 on that. Initially, Liverpool started well, collecting 7 straight victories. But in 5 of those games, they were just scratching by with late goals, conjured up by black magic. And for as impressive as this all was, it definitely was not sustainable this early into the season. And it quickly showed, as Liverpool lost their next 3 straight games after that. But that all said, they were still only just a point off the top in the Prem, and with a game against their personal whipping boys, Manchester United at home, yeah, they'd be alright. However, not even a minute into the game, Virgil van Dijk shows off less spatial awareness than the average Times Square tourist, and the Reds concede. But come on guys, it's Manchester United. All you gotta do is score square in the middle. There you go. None of this really matters though, because you could say literally the same thing about Liverpool in set pieces. Ibrahima Konate chooses to defend the half airspace instead of Harry Maguire, and that is now Liverpool's 4th straight loss. Konate proceeded to continue this reel of disaster classes once more in the following week versus Brentford, and after another set-piece goal conceded, Liverpool went on to collect loss number 5, which saw them drop from 4th to 7th in the league. Keep in mind, they were top of the league just 4 games ago. I completely forgot to add this part, but in between the Man United and Brentford game, Liverpool beat Frankfurt 5-1. So there's that information, I guess. Liverpool were then made to beat Crystal Palace's bitch for a 3rd straight time in this season. It's only the end of October, by the way. With that result, though, this now meant the Reds were officially out of the Carabao Cup, a tournament that they reached the final of last season. This also meant they had now lost 6 of their last 7 games. Fortunately, though, Liverpool were finally able to get out of this run their next league fixture, not because of any of their own players, but because of Emi Martinez. However, the Reds then followed that up with an actually good performance versus Real Madrid. But then we'd learn a few months later that yeah, Real Madrid aren't really doing so well either. And Liverpool did not have to wait long for that reality check, as they were single-handedly turned into a mangled car accident victim by Roadrunner Doku in an embarrassing 3-0 defeat to Man City. Liverpool were then embarrassed again, this time by 19th place Nottingham Forest. This was a team that had already gone through 2 managers, and yet it was the club who spent 900 bajillion in the summer that were the ones to fail. And at home. Needless to say, Liverpool were definitely in a crisis. And it was only going to get worse. How worse? Virgil van Dijk thinking he's Victor Wembanyama worse. Liverpool, though, responded quickly with an equalizer, but that clueless-ass defense of theirs would go on to be absolutely humiliated throughout the second half by PSV. So truly, how worse could this crisis get? Well, now we're starting to bring up history, which is never a good sign. With Liverpool's 4-1 loss to PSV in the Champions League, that was their 3rd straight loss in all competitions by a margin of 3 goals. This is the first time this has happened since December of 1953. Now don't worry, Liverpool fans, the suffering will eventually end. When? Like 6 months from now. But think about the journey, the light at the end of the tunnel. Brazil versus Morocco, France versus Norway, Colombia versus Portugal, Curacao versus Ivory Coast. I just know the mere thought of those matches are getting you really excited to cop some tickets. And I know what you're saying, getting tickets is really tough. But luckily for you, SeatGeek is here to help make your life easier. Now me personally, as a half Scotsman, I'm eyeing those games against Haiti and Morocco in Boston. Because has my life really peaked when I have still yet to see Scott McTominay? SeatGeek has a system that shows each ticket rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal or not. So whether you're deciding on going to see Mbappe versus Haaland or who will reclaim Indonesia, you can easily find the best seat at the best price. Plus, I have a special discount. Get $30 off any World Cup tickets when you spend $200. Just use code MACWELL30. It works for new and existing users. Hit the link in the description so the code gets auto-applied. Make sure you click the link in the description and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later as well. Again, that's $30 off any World Cup tickets after you spend $200 with promo code MACWELL30. Thank you, SeatGeek. Seeing all of this unraveling before his eyes, manager Arne Slot decided to change something up. He removed Mo Salah from the starting 11 due to how bad the superstar had been playing all season, and opted for more numbers in the midfield, which made a good amount of sense considering it was that third of the pitch being shredded every other week. Now obviously, when you bench your superstar player, the media is going to be a little curious about how that player reacted. But no need to stress, because Arne Slot told media that, yeah, Salah was a little bit not too happy about that decision, but he reacted very professionally. Either way, the adjustment paid off as Liverpool ended yet another miserable streak by taking all 3 points away from home. 180 Google signing Alexander Isak even scored a goal, which would be his first of the Premier League season. It's been 13 games. But that was West Ham. I'm almost certain that the Timbuktu U9 School of the Blind would beat them. Because against Sunderland, Liverpool immediately revert back to the same antics of conceding first. Oh, but what's this? It's Florian Wirtz on the ball.
This is Wirtz. Could this be the moment? Finally!
Oh, never mind. Liverpool right at the death nearly threw it all away, but fortunately, Federico Chiesa turned into one of those aura farming Italians from 2002. By the way, it really does say a lot that an Italian forward did a better job of defending this scenario than your actual starting center back Ibrahima Konate. Oh, by the way, speaking of Konate, initially he was linked with Real Madrid on a free. Real Madrid don't even want him on a free anymore. Anyways, next was Leeds, and Liverpool did the impossible. They actually scored first. And oh my god, they scored again! But not so fast, Toxic Optimists. This isn't a Liverpool match in the 25-26 season without a canon event, or should I say, Konate event. And not even 2 minutes later, Liverpool failed to close anyone down again, and are punished with a late equalizer. However, it appears the sacrifice of Salah was also a blood pact with the Etsy witches, as the dark magic returns to save the day for the Reds. Unfortunately though, no dark magic is any match for the absolute incompetence that is Liverpool's current set-piece coach, and the Reds concede a late equalizer in the 5th minute of stoppage time. This was, by the way, the 3rd straight game that Mo Salah was starting from the bench, but this time, he didn't even see the pitch. And remember when Slot told the media that Salah wasn't too happy about the decision, but reacted professionally? That could not have aged more poorly. After the game versus Leeds, Mo Salah blasted the manager and club. The forward started by saying that he was disappointed in the club's decision to bench him after all the things that he's done for them. Salah also claimed that he previously had a good relationship with Arne Slot, but now there wasn't any relationship whatsoever. He then dropped another bombshell and said that someone seems to not want him at the club and that he's being, quote, thrown under the bus. Before we address that, let's talk about Mo Salah a little bit. Since March, Mo Salah has just not been the same player at all. He's not been getting as many touches on the ball, his take on success rate has dropped significantly, and he's still getting used to his new teammates. In my opinion, it's like he's lost control of what he used to be able to confidently grasp. And it's not helped at all that the very system that changed for him is also starting to drift away from him as well. The new attackers around him have different dynamics, which is why you're seeing Salah not receiving the ball in those sweet spots like previous seasons. Not to mention, the system was built on Salah not having to track back. But now that Trent is gone and the right back situation is a nightmare and a half, there's a massive gap on the flanks that's not being covered and opposing teams are constantly exposing it. This all said, not everything is bad. Salah is actually creating more chances per game than the previous season, but obviously, the bad kind of outweighs the good here. So going back to the bombshell post-match interview, Salah definitely should not have said any of this shit. I mean, saying you are above the bench simply because of everything you've done in the past, it's just childish. You're one of the horsemen that started this incredible legacy. You should know better than to not say that. I understand we all say dumb shit in the heat of the moment, but this was still really uncalled for. But I can understand some of Mo Salah's frustrations as well. Naturally, when a system is built around you, there is going to be a lot more scrutiny with it. And by all means, Salah has been awful this season. But so has quite literally everyone else on this team besides Dominic Szoboszlai. And when the whole team is still playing like garbage without me, yeah, I'd be pissed off too. And here's another thing. If nothing is working whatsoever, shouldn't the conversation, move towards the manager Arne Slot and the board, Jamie Carragher? There's a good amount of things that Arne Slot has gotten completely wrong throughout this season so far. I mean, nothing says success more than playing the same exact tactics that got you a 3-0 loss in your very next match. The manager just hasn't been able to get anything to work. There's numerous things that are wrong with the system right now, and he's done a horrific job at trying to recover from the Trent loss. He's to blame for a lot of this, but so is the disastrous and absolutely reckless recruitment that happened in the summer. Again, Liverpool straight up spent like $9 gazillion on attackers and completely disregarded everything else. Sure, injuries have been an issue too, but the Reds entered this season with a squad depth similar to that of the Phoenix Suns in 2024. Anyways, Liverpool currently sit 10th in the league now in a complete and utter crisis. There's no doubts anymore. This is a genuine red alert, red flag, this season is gone. And I really do believe that it's only going to get worse from here, because there are so many things that are wrong with this team. There are players that are way past their primes. There are players that do not have any confidence whatsoever, and not to mention all the other systemic issues. And also the fact that they're still missing Trent. But what do you guys think about the whole Liverpool situation? Will they get better, or will it actually just keep continuously getting worse? Let me know. Of course, though, a massive shout out to all our members, including Janos Balas, Jeremy Sayu 7th, Jeremiah Owusu Ajimang, Django, Anazir Makalongkam, Alex Rod, Kentra Gacha, Saint Terrence, Sylvia Citrus, Cheesebait, Winter Gel, Finn Likes Rugby More, Davox, The Porter Geyser, Wise Orange, Polo Protos, Fun Fan, The Ghostly Owl, Coney Wolves, Leakstab, Mutanai, Apollo, Thrilling ADT13, Los Milos, LeJames Braun, Vecino, Napside, Money Cash Hose, Quantavious Pork, Lilia Lover, Stewed Monk, Red Yellow, Fuxi, MXN, Harry Maguire's Left Toenail, Flaquito, Thierry's Thoughts, Kev C, Dominic Griffin, Kyler Krez, Mohammed Altanib, Nish, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Raspberry Ale, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to become a member on the channel, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like. You can also follow my Twitch. I'm gonna probably do at least one more stream before the end of the year, but until then, I'll see you guys.